We are so glad you're back. Hit it, baby. Stand up and sing with us, if you want to. Reach out and spread a little love around. Reach out and spread a little love around. If you want to make a difference in this world, there's just one thing to do. You gotta reach out, spread a little love around. Oh yeah. Reach out, spread a little peace and joy. Reach out, spread a little peace and joy. If you wanna make a difference in this world, there's just one thing to do. You gotta reach out, spread a little peace and joy. Oh yeah. Reach out, sing a little harmony. Reach out, sing a little harmony. If you wanna make a difference in this world, there's just one thing to do. You gotta reach out and sing a little harmony. Oh yeah. Reach out and spread a little peace and joy. Oh yeah. Reach out and spread a little love around. Oh yeah. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If we can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If we can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If we can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. I know we can. Woo, good morning, everybody. I was going to wear my Christmas sweater this morning, but it's right balmy out there. Let's see, last week felt like January. This week feels like April. Right? We are confused here in Middleton. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Music City, a place of authentic transformation. Let me tell you all the ways we're fitting to transform you today, because we've got dinner on the grounds afterwards, right? And food always transforms me. I don't know about you. So we'll get a spiritual transformation. We'll get a physical transformation. You got the mental transformation. You're on your own for that one. All right, we have nothing to do with that. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of things going on this week. Have you heard about that New Age Bond film that's coming out? Have you seen that trailer? Yeah, have you seen that New Age Bond film? You have? Because I'm making this up. She has, apparently. Okay, good. It can only go downhill from here. I'm just here to tell you. Yes, my name is Key, Ray Key. I worked on that for hours, people, and it just like, no, apparently it's being filmed here this week because we got all kinds of Reiki happening this week. First off, This Tuesday, December 4th, and next Tuesday, December 11th, Beliefs 101 with Becky Astorita is taking place in the upstairs studio. I believe that's in the evening at 7. I don't have a time down here, but I'm going to go with that. Becky's probably here somewhere. Is that 7 o'clock? We'll tell Becky to show up at 7 o'clock. How about that? This Friday, December 7th at 7 o'clock is our next Reiki clinic, open to the public. So come on out. This is a great way to get yourself aligned for the holiday season. It's on a first-come, first-served basis, and donations of money or non-perishable food items will be accepted. And then next Sunday, December 9th, Reiki and Restorative Yoga with Becky. Don't mind the cameras while they're filming the movie. 4 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon next Sunday. And then coming up the Tuesday after that, Tuesday, December 11th, a week from this Tuesday, is Reiki with Bonnie from 7 to 9, empowering your third eye. I'm telling you what, this is Reiki Central around here these days, so get lined up. If you miss any one of those, we got another one coming right around the corner. I'll tell you what, it is December the 2nd, so all of you who have a December birthday, I think we need to sing happy birthday to you. If you have a birthday in the month of December, do we have any? There we go, Pam. All right, Matt, Pam. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Now everybody stand up and let's sing again, shall we? You cannot sing this one sitting down.
I will talk it, I will be love every day. I will live it, I will live it, all along the way. If we want the world to see the love that lives in you and me, we gotta walk it, talk it, live it, give it every day. Talk talks, walk talks, but walk talks louder than talk talks. Talk talks, walk talks, but walk talks louder than talk talks. I will walk it, I will talk it, I will be love every day. I will live it, I will live it, all along the way. If we want the world to see the love that lives in you and me, we gotta walk it, talk it, live it, give it every day. Walk it, talk it, live it, give it every day. Walk it, talk it, live it, give it every day.
Woo! We could never figure out if it's give it or live it and give it. And I noticed that we had it two different ways up there. So whichever order in which you want to live your lives is okay with us. If you want to give it and then live it, or live it and then give it, we're good with that, one or the other. We've got just a couple more announcements, of course, classes. Oh, first, Dodson Chapel Food Pantry. We just helped them a great deal fill up their Thanksgiving boxes, and now they're wanting to fill their Christmas boxes for folks who need a little assistance providing a good Christmas meal for their families. Consider adding a few cans of fruit, soups, vegetables, cereal bars, or shampoo to your shopping cart this week. Their Christmas boxes will be handed out on December 15th. So we need to go ahead and get that stuff happening if you're feeling the call to do that. Yes.
Can I make an addition?
You are. Go for it.
They are asking for us here at this church to provide 15 pies for the boxes that are coming from actually Second Harvest. So 15 pies. Nothing that's going to melt just by sitting, but something like a pecan or any kind of chocolate or apple or any of those kinds of pies. 15 from this church. You can either bake it yourself or you can go to Kroger or Publix and get one. So that's what they're asking from us.
If you bake it yourself, you will need to bake 2 and bring one of them so that we can test it, so that no one will be harmed. Okay. It's just a service we provide. Someone's got to do it. All right, Lunch Bunch, Wednesdays at 11:30 in the Namaste Cafe. If you've got some time in the middle of the day, come on out and join that crew. And then Wednesday night class, of course, is off for the month of December. We finished up nonviolent communication. We all communicate completely peacefully now. And so we got to take December off because we graduated. No, at any rate, there are no Wednesday night classes, but I want to let you know that coming up in January, starting January 9th, we'll be looking at The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So if you're trying to think of something to put on your Christmas list, that might be a thing to put on your Christmas list, and be ready for that class that starts up January 9th. Also, if you missed any of those things, or you were still trying to figure out why Ray Key is funny, just pick up a bulletin at the back, the red bulletin for December, and put it on your refrigerator so you don't miss a thing. B?
I'm still trying to figure out if I should walk it or talk it. Just a reminder, if you would like to have prayer with one of our prayer chaplains, please feel free to ask for that. We're here to pray with you, and also we have a prayer box here if you'd like to put in special requests for yourself or for someone you love, right here. And here we are at Advent. The Advent season, the 4 Sundays before Christmas, provides each of us time to anticipate and prepare for the birth of the Christ child within our hearts and minds. May each of us take the time each day to remember this profound gift and the meaning it holds for our lives. The affirmation: I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope. Together. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is a prominent part of the Christmas story. She represents faith and hope as she prepares to birth the Christ. So what does it mean to give birth to the Christ? It means that we become aware of our own divine calling and nature. We do this by slowing down and paying attention to what is going on, not only around us, but within us. If there is fear around our earthly walk, we breathe into the moment and choose love instead of fear. As I begin to walk by faith, I realize that I become an inspiration, a ray of hope to those around me. In that way, my faith is more than a passive state of being. It is the active energy that empowers my thoughts and brings them into manifestation and human experience. It is in the embracing of this understanding of faith that I create the consciousness of hope, first in my life and then in the lives of others. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope.
are messengers of hope. We 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 are messengers of hope. Ooh, oh,
So I ask that you do a reset with us in this moment. And as you begin to balance your breathing, affirming that I am a messenger of hope. And then in my inner beingness, I have to decide what that looks like. What that would sound like with words coming from me. What it would feel like to step into being a messenger of hope. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope. And so that means that everything that I do, every thought that I think, every word that I speak, every emotion that I feel, every interaction that I have is one that is intended to bring hope. And so as I focus on my inner light, my heart space, what would it be like in my life if what people saw in me, felt from me, was hope? In the silence. In the silence. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope.
when I attune to the presence that is the Christ, I then am able to make the statement, I am holy. Only goodness comes from me.
Good morning. I know this is a favorite of mine and many of you all, so I hope you enjoy Mary Did You Know? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save your sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy had come to make you new? This child that you've delivered, oh, will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? And did you know that your baby boy had walked where angels trod? When you kissed your little baby, oh, you've kissed the face of God. Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, and the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak the praises of the Lamb. that your baby boy was Lord of all creation. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? And did you know that your baby boy was heaven's perfect lamb? Oh, this sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Judy and I are really glad to be back this week. We needed a week off, but it feels weird when we're not here doing this. It feels weird to us. It feels weird to probably you all too. So those of you that have never experienced the Christmas season with us, as I was saying to David Wright this morning, we do a little Catholic something something to help people that are Catholics feel like they've gone through Christmas. But this is actually one of my favorite times of the year because I get to do Metaphysical Bible up here in front of all of you. Because the Christmas story is the most important story for you and your life to move forward, to do what you came here to do, and to birth onto the planet what you came here to birth onto the planet. It's that important. So I encourage you to be here for at least the 4 Sundays of Advent, because you won't get but part of the story, and you'll be lost. Lost, wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. Here we go again. That's right. Because the Advent season, if you grew up Catholic or Episcopal or some of those high holy kind of churches, I wasn't in one of those high holy kind of churches. We were just all going to hell, and there was no ifs and buts about it. It's all about hope and peace and love and joy. Doesn't that all sound wonderful? And one of the reasons Unity grabs onto this story and holds it so very tightly is that's what Unity is about. Bringing hope to the world through being love and joy and peace, and everything else we what? Huh. Do we really? And that's the deal, one way or the other. Yes, one way or the other. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you a little bit of information. We're going to go through the metaphysical story of Mary. I'm going to give you a little bit of that. We're going to have another song. And then I'm going to give you a little extra something something just for your knowing to take home with you. That's pretty exciting about why it's important that we live in Nashville, Tennessee right now, because that's a part of this story also. Why it's very important that we're at this church right now, because that's very important also. And then there's going to be an exciting song that's going to end all of that. So just give you a little insight that Mary has to do with faith. I had somebody this morning ask me about the 12 powers. I wore faith blue this morning because Mary is about faith, believing. I don't know how many of you have read the story of Mary lately, but remember she was only 13 or 14 years old. That's to remember. And she, in her culture, was being asked to marry this old man. That's to remember. And she was already betrothed to him, engaged to him of sorts. And you need to remember all that as we get ready to go through this story. Because we all have a backstory also. That is what got us to this moment. before the angel speaks to you and says, hello, Dan, this is yours to do. And you go, but what about all of this right here? So I just want you to hear this story and take it in. Because here are the 4 premises of Advent again. Hope, peace, joy, and love. And that is what we are here to anchor to this planet. And so anything else is not a part of why we're here. Now, you all have spiritual gifts and talents that you brought onto the planet to do this work. But this is the real work for you. So did you know this? Really? If you did, you would never say anything ugly about anybody ever again. You would never have a negative thought. You would never worry about anything. You would never talk about something you didn't want. And I see that some of you look like I have just swapped you in the face with a pie. Because I have to remind myself of that every day. Everything is energy. Every thought I think, every word that comes out my mouth, every emotion that I feel, everything I do is pure energy. In fact, Einstein said everything is energy, that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. Do you believe that? Then why would we be wallowing in something we didn't want? Huh? We enjoy it, Dan says, maybe. There's payback on some level. So I just want you to think about that. We can blame it on the people we live with. We can blame it on our children or our parents. But the bottom line is everything I think and say and feel is energy going out into the universe and in my body. So the other thing I want you to see is that you have an energy blueprint that is yours. That is not like anybody else's. Have you ever walked into a room and felt somebody's energy and went, oh? That was their energy blueprint. And you wanted to get away. But what if your energy blueprint is ever like that and people want to get away from you? So how do we become aware of what our energy is? Well, you know, Deb, I played right into Deb this morning, not even knowing what she was doing. But if you've never had Reiki, and Becky, we've already talked about all that, and you weren't here, I don't think, at that time, but there's going to be a lot of experiences in December that have to do with Reiki, tuning up your energy. So if you are wondering what your energy blueprint looks like, or if you know that there's a little something that needs to be tuned up or tweaked up, you might want to come to one of the Reiki experiences. Because it's a safe, gentle way to get a spiritual tune-up. Just like you tune up your cars. So, hence the story of Mary. One of the things I want you to know about Mary is that she was a very good little Jewish girl. She went to the synagogue, she studied, she knew all that she was supposed to do, and she spent lots and lots of time in the silence, meditating, making herself clean and clear and pure for Holy Spirit to come through. So that's what we're dealing with here, is a teenager, young teenager that already got it. She already understood what was hers to do to bring to the planet. In the beginning of the scriptures, and I'm going to actually read out of the King James. That will make John Ricks very happy this morning. Yay! God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin betrothed to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. We're going to talk about virgin, but at the end of the service, so just hang on to that. The angel said to her, "Greetings, you who are highly favored," and flavored too, favored. "The Lord is with you." Now, the thing I want you to hear is the word God sometimes has interesting connotations. So if that bothers you, say the universe. Universal energy showed up for her and told her, "The Lord is with you." The Lord is what? Law. Universal law is with you. When is the last time an angel or a higher being showed up and said to you, "Hey, Laura, universal law is with you"? Would you believe it? Or would you just think you had indigestion and you needed to take another something? Think about Mary. You know, we sometimes forget that she was just a girl. And this big old angel showed up. Huge. 12, 15, 18 feet tall. What would you do? Hey. Huh? Probably not. Some of us would be going, "Oh, shit, what is that?" Think about that. That the angel appeared to Mary, looking kind of like that. Now, I want you to think about something that Mary would have had read to her in a Jewish synagogue at some point in time. "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." But I doubt that this Mary, who was at the time 13, 14, 15 years old, had ever really thought that that had anything to do with her. Have you ever heard truth, universal truth, and thought that really has nothing to do with me? Until this big old mamma jamma angel showed up. And then she was like, "Uh-oh, wonder what this has to do with me." When spirit, universal energy, shows up in your life, are you open and willing to receive, or do you go? I'm going to ask that question again because some of you are looking at me like I spoke Swahili. When universal energy shows up for you, in whatever way it shows up, are you open to receive it or not? I heard a few yeses. Affirm this with me. Spirit sends assistance, and I am open to receive. Say that with me again. Spirit sends assistance, and I am open to receive. We don't really know the whole backstory of Mary. But what we have to affirm on some level is that she'd been asking some questions. Some big, heavy-duty questions about her life, and a big old angel showed up. Now, y'all are going to stop asking questions about your life, right? Or at least not go in a room in your house in the dark and sit by yourself. And then the scriptures say next that Mary was greatly troubled at the words that she heard. And she wondered what kind of greeting this might be. So here there is this big angel thing that showed up for her. Gives her some information about her life and why she has been asking the questions she's been asking. Any of you ever ask questions of Spirit? And they come, some answers come, but you don't pay attention to them. You don't like them. No, we don't sometimes. And so Mary was wondering about all this. It's like, what is this all about for me? Guess what the angel said to her? Before we do that, I want you to affirm this with me, because I jumped ahead of myself. I don't know how Spirit shows up for you. I can promise you that it shows up for me first in a smell. That's my first mode of operation. And when I smell something that is like, what's that? Then I know to pay attention, because I'm getting ready to get a message. Sometimes recently, and some of you that have been in the Wednesday night class know some of the struggles I've had with my mother over the last 2-3 weeks. Sometimes when I get quiet, I smell cinnamon toast with little candy balls. My mother used to make for me in the morning sometimes cinnamon toast with little candy balls. So what I know is my mother's presence is right there with me. Sometimes that excites me. Sometimes I'm like, go away. I smell people's cologne. I smell Ken Goins cigarette smoke in this building lots of times because I know he's here. I hear Jody's laughter. So whatever it is that you have keyed into universe, that's your first message of getting information, and you need to become aware of what that is so that you pay attention. Again, when I smell something, that's my first one. I go, woo, somebody's trying to tell me something. It might be somebody in the present body, or it might be somebody that's already gone. So I want you to listen to this, and then we're going to affirm it together. I am open to what I see, hear, feel, taste, or smell as Spirit reaches out to me. Are you? Ready? I am open to what I see, hear, feel, taste, or smell as Spirit reaches out to me. Just take that in for a minute. And then say it with me again. I am open to what I see, hear, feel, taste, or smell as Spirit reaches out to me. Just contemplate that for a minute. Because the next thing that Mary heard was this. How many of us have asked Holy Spirit for an answer, and an answer came and it made us afraid? So just hang in there, because that's what this lesson is about. If that's not happened to you, what I will tell you is you're not asking big enough things. You're asking little things that you can take care of yourself if Spirit doesn't do it the way you want him to. So these are questions of huge purpose. What am I here about? What am I doing here? What is my life's work or purpose about? Or I'm having this struggle, Holy Spirit, and I don't know how to deal with this. What should I do? And probably the first thing you're going to hear is that. Because I want you to remember the energy blueprint that you are. You do not want your energy blueprint full of fear, because that's the energy you put out into the universe. And the universe is going to respond. Can you feel that? Are you ready to say this affirmation with me? I let go of fear. I believe. See what that feels like inside of you. And then say it again. I let go of fear. I believe. So what is faith? Faith is our modern word for hope. But what is it? Anybody ever heard that? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That is in the New Testament. as a definition of what faith is. The substance of things that we are wanting. Where is substance? All around us. You live and move and have your beingness in God. We're told that. What does that mean? We are in substance. The substance that is God is all around us and within us. But there's another definition that I like much better. This is Charles Fillmore's definition. The perceiving power of the mind linked with the ability to do what? What does that mean? That means if I have enough faith, if I have enough hope, I can shape substance. I can create things. I can manifest things in my life. Woo! Some of you are going, do you understand how important that is? So if you want to create something different than you have right now in this moment, you got to have faith. You got to believe. Because faith without fear creates in the substance that you align your energy with and pull it into manifestation. That's an easy layman's term of what you do here. So how does this story apply to you? You're like, that's a nice little story about Mary, bless her little heart. I'm sorry she was 14 years old and had to marry that old man and whatever all that was about. She had obviously asked for something. Or those angels wouldn't have shown up. You know, we're putting out messages all the time into the ethers. It's like you are a radio transmitter, and you're transmitting. And somebody from the great beyond is going to show up. Yeah. Somebody is going to answer the call. And then whatever comes of that, you have to believe. If you remember when we talked about basic unity and why we are unity, I said of all those three, ask, believe, and receive, it's the belief piece that gives us the most problem. We get the answers to many things that we ask, but we don't believe them. We think we can do it ourselves and figure it out. Right? Sometimes. So, ask and believe and receive. I don't know if you can see these words. This is Michael Beckwith. And this is an amazing statement that I want you to hear. You can't pray and worry at the same time. They are two different vibrations. What I know, even with our prayer chaplains sometimes, is we come in with people and they ask for prayers, but they're in such a fearful state. You can't pray and worry at the same time. Many of us were taught to pray in fundamental religion, oh dear God, I am a lowly sinner, and I know I don't deserve this, but would you please... Pray and complain. Don't put a prayer with the words of the things you don't want out there. You know, God, I have unka bunka honka, and it's really causing me problems, and my left foot is about to fall off. But I want you to fix it. That's putting the wrong energy out into the universe. Because the universe heard, I have a honka bunka bunka, and my left foot is falling off. Okay. Yes. Can you hear that? That's why being in unity is not necessarily the easiest path, because you have to redo your brain. I said we need a rotor-rooter to go in there and dig all that out, suck it all out, so we can start again. So if you really want to know what this story is really about, it's about your particular calling. Mary had one. You have one. Some of you may have already stepped into your calling. Some of you may have stepped in and stepped out, stepped in and stepped out. And some of you may have ignored it totally, trying to make it go away. So we're going to turn the lights off for a minute, and you're going to watch a video of a young girl, about 18 or 19, that stepped into her calling and what it did for her and the people.
How does a 23-year-old American girl from New Jersey, college-bound 4 years ago, end up in a remote Himalayan village raising over 200 children who have been orphaned as a result of disease and civil war? My story began exactly 5 years ago when I woke up one morning at 18 years old and had a scary realization. I knew very little about myself and what I wanted in my life. So I packed up a backpack with very few belongings, and I decided to take a trip around the world. I had never really traveled, never left my country. All of a sudden, my whole world opened up. There was so much to learn and so much to discover outside of the walls of a four-walled classroom. I was walking down the road one day when I locked eyes with this little girl. Her name's Laukora. Her job every day was to take loads from the bus park all the way into the villages, and she'd go back and forth all day. She'd make $1, $2 in the day to feed her family. This is the life of a Nepalese orphan. I looked at her and I saw every single piece of myself. And I was devastated. I thought, what have we done as a human family that our children are living this way? I soon kept reading, and I found out that there were 80 million children just like her in the world. And I was devastated. And then I met one particular girl. Her name was Hema, and this is Hema here. She was 7 years old, but every day when I walked to meet her, she'd just smile with these big, bright eyes, and she'd say, "Namaste, Didi." And I thought for the first time, okay, Maggie, forget the 80 million. What if you just started with Hemo? Is there something that you can do to change the life of just one child? And I thought at 18, and as the entrepreneurial mind that I have, okay, I can do that. What if I just supported the education of this one child? How would her life change? And this is Hema a couple of weeks later. I put her into school and followed and tracked her progress. But the sad thing was that I didn't think it was enough. There were kids that didn't have homes and families, and they were orphans. And one day I had this idea. I found a piece of land, and it just happened to be $5,000. And I wanted to build a home for orphan kids, a home and a school and a base. I called up my parents and I said, "Can you send me over my $5,000 of life savings?" I had saved up from the time I was about 6 years old, every penny. I babysat starting from the time I was 12 to when I was 18. And sure enough, they wired over that $5,000, and I bought my first piece of property in Nepal. The world will change when our children and our women are educated. They have less children, they raise better families, they raise more educated children, their disease, everything decreases, poverty levels, communities and villages change. And the thing about this work that I do is that it's very addicting. So I thought, okay, one kid, if I could do one, why not 10? What if my dream was to walk across this dry riverbed one day and not see a single child breaking stone? That's what I want. I want to create a world that I want to see every day. And I think we have the power to do that. I don't think you have to go 8,000 miles away to the foothills of the Himalayas. I think the beauty of all of us is that we have talents and we have gifts. And this just happened to be mine, and I'm really lucky to have found it and created my little slice of heaven, my little paradise. And I think that the world will change when we all find that for ourselves, where we wake up every day and we wouldn't rather be anywhere else in the world doing any other kind of work. We think of all the things we don't have instead of the things that we do have. Oh, I could do that if I had more money once I have my PhD, after I'm settled, after I'm established, after I'm famous. Well, what if everything you had was everything you have right now? Your body and your mind and that sense of, I can do anything.
So I want you just to hold that thought. I know that was heavy. And Pat is going to share a song with you, and then we will have a little bit more of a lesson.
This song was written by Patty Griffin, and you probably have heard it. If you hadn't, I'm going to do it for you. It's called Up to the Mountain. I went up to the mountain because you asked me to. Up over the clouds to where the sky was blue. I could see all around me. Everywhere I could see all around me. Everywhere. Sometimes I feel like I ain't never been nothing but tired. And I'll be walking till the day I expire. Sometimes I lay down. No more can I do. But then I go on again. Because you asked me to. Some days I look down, afraid I will fall. And though the sun shines, oh, I see nothing at all. Then I hear your sweet voice, sweet voice, come and then go, come and then go, telling me softly, you love me so. Valley, just over the mountain, the peaceful valley. Oh, few have come to know. I may never get there ever in this lifetime, but sooner or later it's there I will go. Later, there I will go.
So if you heard the word sooner or later, I don't want to put too much out there that will scare everybody off, but you know, Unity believes in reincarnation. So whatever is yours to do sooner or later, you're going to get there. It may not be in this lifetime. But I signed up in this lifetime to get her done, I hate to tell you. Because it was like, I'm not going to come back and do some of this again. Some of the people I've had to dance with have not been fun. And so it's like, I'm going to get this so that I don't have to do it the hard way anymore. Does that make sense? So I want to give you a little bit of something that's exciting on the end of this, because I thought, I'm not going to leave you right there going, oh, dear God, now what do I have to do? That's your own to deal with, your own journaling, your meditation, because I know that some of you, I see your faces, you know what's yours to do. It's just, am I willing to say yes and step out there and do it? Mary said, how can this be? I'm a virgin. How can I be pregnant? That's on the physical plane. Some of you know that I call myself a spiritual midwife. And what I do all week, other than this, is help people birth what they want to manifest out into the world. And I don't sit with one person ever during the week that is not afraid at some point in time. Because I tell people, if your dream is not too big for you to do it by yourself, it ain't big enough. Because then I don't have to surrender and let God help me. So, how can this be? That old word virgin. We've worried and wallered around with that, and New Thoughts worried and wallered around with that. And what does that really mean? Well, in one of the Hebrew texts, the word was Betula, which meant virgin, which could have meant possibly someone who had never had sex before. Possibly. But there's also a word, Alma, which is a young woman of childbearing age. I am not a young woman of childbearing age. Okay, some of you are. But she was a young teenager. She was of childbearing age. That's really all the scriptures were trying to tell us. Now, if you take that word and look into the Greek, which is where I'm taking you, because this is exciting for me right now with our church and the journey that we're taking. The word is Parthenos, which meant young girl. Parthenos, what does that sound like? Parthenon? Do, 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 do. The Greek Parthenon. I don't know if there's anybody in here who's actually seen it. I have not, but yay, there's somebody out there that has. Cool. Was a Greek temple that was turned into the church of Parthenos. Can you hear that? Years and years ago, turned into the church of Mary, Parthenos. Mary had the wisdom. The wisdom to follow what Spirit had told her to do, to bring to the planet. This is a picture of the Parthenon when I was a little girl. That is when Harvey's was big in Nashville, Tennessee, and they had a nativity scene. And every year, my parents and I would decide what night we were going to do it. I put on my footy pajamas. It was an event. You drive through Centennial Park and you drive in front of the Parthenon and you see this massive display of the nativity scene. But do you find it interesting that we have a Parthenon, a Parthenos here? The Church of Mary is right here. And some of you know that the way that Nashville was created, it was created in the same type of landlines as the Greek temple. And so has Nashville, Tennessee. The founders of our city did that on purpose. It's about the wisdom that has been implanted into this city. And some of you are aware of Brenda Julian Williams and some of the things we're doing here on this land, and we have planted peace here on this land 3 years in a row. And this land is an important piece of Parthenos. So breathe into that. Some of you are still looking like I just made you eat spinach or something. It's all good. It's about us being a wisdom center here of many different kinds that you're going to hear a little bit more about over the next coming months. Nashville Chooses Peace is now a 501c3, already done. Thank you, Ryan, Lordy Mercy, for doing all of that. We're going to have more and more Reiki and more classes and more things, opportunities here, because we are the Church of Mary, the Parthenos. That's who we really are. We're not going to tell everybody that because that'll scare people to death. They'll be like, oh, what does that mean? Mary was the one who birthed the good news onto the planet. Now, fundamental religion got all wadded up in that and thought the good news was that, I accept Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. That ain't the good news. The good news is hope for the world. The good news is what that young girl created, that we all have the ability to manifest whatever we want to manifest because we have the same ability that Mary did. Can you hear that? Some of you are going, and some of you are going, That's why this journey is so important. The Advent journey takes you deeper to a place that you might not have been. So I ask you to affirm this with me again this morning because we affirmed it during our sacred reading. I let my Christ light shine by being a messenger of hope. And what does that mean for you? It means every day. Every day. I'm going to say that again. Every day. Have an Advent retreat for yourself. Whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, say yes to whatever Spirit downloads. Because, yes, Mary was the first one to carry the gospel. But tag, you are it.
Was the first one to carry the gospel, and the angels brought the news of that precious little boy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, and that news brought joy, sweet joy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, when the angels brought the news of that precious little boy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, and that news brought joy, sweet joy.
The shepherds watched their flocks by night and nearly fell asleep. Another long and lonely night, watching all those sheep, until a choir of holy angels filled the night with sounds of joy. Good news I bring, for Christ the King is Mary's little boy.
Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, when the angels brought the news of that precious little boy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, and that news brought joy, sweet joy.
Hosanna to the highest, in Christ his only Son. God's story wrapped in swaddling clothes, the meek and lowly one. This baby boy will change the hearts of all who can't believe. What the prophets told has come to pass, a virgin has conceived. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel when the angels brought the news. That precious little boy, Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, and that news brought joy, sweet joy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel when the angels brought the news of that precious little boy. Mary was the first one to carry the gospel, and that news brought joy, sweet joy. And that news brought joy, sweet joy. And that news brought joy, sweet joy.
We have a lot of fun doing that one, don't we? It is time now for our offering. I have to say this before we take the offering. I thought that I had heard Denise Jurgen invent all of the words that she would ever invent in her life. But hunka bunka bunka sounds like a good word to take into the offering. We ought to use that in our offering affirmation. If you'll take your tithes, offerings, and gifts in your hand and say the offering affirmation with me, please. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me. Please join us on the sacred walk of abundance.
open our hands and our hearts and our minds and we bless these tithes and offerings, knowing that they come from the midst of infinite abundance. We are all floating in this soup of infinite abundance at all moments. We live and move and have our very beingness there. And so as I live in the midst of infinite abundance, I give freely and fearlessly to life. And life gives back to me, heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, for that's the law, and so it is.
I realize I'm one of the few things standing between you and lunch. So I've got a few more jokes I'd like to try out on you for, no, just kidding, I'm just kidding. Don't forget to stay for lunch, even if you didn't bring anything, which is fine, a lot of people didn't. We did our aluminum pan ministry. It's all there, it's all ready, just stay. But first, let's join hands and sing together to close this service.
Each day I'll give my best. I will be a source of constant love, bringing hope and happiness. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. It's acts of kindness I do each day. I'll bring peace and joy and love. It will be a force for good in this world. I'll reach out to those in need. I will be a light where darkness lies. By example I will lead. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. It's acts of kindness I do each day. I'll bring peace and joy and love. It's more than just the words I say. It's more than just the prayers I pray. With spirit as my source, I will stay the course. I will be a force for good in this world. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
The next stop that we make, oh, it's gonna be England. And tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know it's time to get on board and let this train, let it go, riding on through. Well, people all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train.
People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train.
Now all of you brothers over in Africa, tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too, in Saudi Arabia, don't miss this train at the station, 'cause I'm gonna be sorry for you. Well,
People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, hey, love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world, join hands, start a love train, a love train.